What's going on, guys? Dennis Schumar 11 here from the Discord or Mario Superstars Baseball Long Island Basement Club. What's up? I hope everyone is safe, healthy, and I hope that we're not all going crazy. I'm trying not to. I'm doing the best I can to not go crazy. And, what better time to make another tier list? Now, before the controversy starts with my listing, this is me. This is how I would pick players. This is how I value them. I played with every character except I would say I haven't really played with the lesser characters as much, like the babies and such, just because I've played enough with them to know that they aren't good. They're not usable pretty much in any format. So outside of maybe 3, 4 characters, I've played with everyone as much as I can, and you will see in my listing that there's things I do and don't value, and I'll talk about that. And without rambling way too much, this is my list, and the characters that will fall kind of to the wayside are characters that don't excel in one thing and have a lesser bat. So let's get it. So number one, I have Donkey Kong. Still have him one. So to me, he is the best shortstop in the game because you do not need a connection with his arm. He has connection also to Diddy. He also has connection to Petey Piranha. Petey should be either at first or at home, so he has a connection there. Donkey Kong has star throw home. So for me, who isn't really valuing as much maybe arm or chemistry or great fielding, having Donkey Kong at shortstop or second base, depending on the hitter, the matchup, whatever, I know where he is. I throw it to him. I star throw it home. It is almost just as fast as someone having a connection in the outfield because of his star throw home. It breaks up. It makes everyone that is running home from second base question whether or not they're going to run home. The amount of times I've gotten players into pickles, then with Goomba on the mound, have held them to third base with Donkey Kong at short or in the infield because of the star throw home has saved a lot of runs. And you really can't, I guess, contextualize it. Maybe that's not even the word, but it's hard to measure how many runs he has saved defensively because of the star throw home, because he gets to almost any ball on the left side of the field on the ground, grounders, slow rollers, and he's able to truck it over to first base with or without a star. His dive animation is great. There's really not that much lag to his dive. And to me, he's the best shortstop in the game because of everything I've mentioned. His bat, I think he's the 4th best home run hitter. I have him actually ahead of King Boo. I've hit with both of them. I've perfected, I think, I'd like to think that I've perfected a lot of characters in this game when it comes to their swing. I like, Donkey Kong much more than King Boo. I think that King Boo, a lot of times, it's like you either go 0 for 4 or you go 4 for 4. You're either feeling him or you're not, just because his swing is so bizarre. I fouled off so many balls at King Boo. With Donkey Kong, I have his home run rate a little bit higher just because I've gotten so used to it. I do have Bowser, Boomer, and Petey over him from a power swing perspective, but Donkey Kong, yes, he does have the bad out to right field, a little pop fly, a little bloop, that's an out, but he's a very good slap hitter, so if you're down in the count and you need guys to come in and score, he has a very good slap hit. And also, even if you aren't 100% timed on the home run swing, if it's not a home run, a lot of times it will be a nice hard hit in the left center field, right center gap, and you can score multiple runs. You can leg out a double. His star hit is awesome, in my opinion. I think it's worth the 1 star. I think it's even worth 2 stars. But I'm always taking him as a captain if he's there. I think it's worth at least 1 or 2 stars. Unless there's Yoshi in center field, you're not getting his ball. I've played a lot of games on my channel, played a lot of games on the New Pulse channel, and they land. They land when hit and play. They land, and I've had multiple balls hit with Birdo and Yoshi in the outfield, and they land. It's very hard to track it. There's been times where even Diddy was right next to the ball where it lands and wasn't able to get to it. So to me, if it lands, it's a double, and I think it's also not prone to getting into a double play, right? A lot with other star characters, if the ball doesn't get out of the infield, it's a double play and it's an inning ender. If you don't have a star, you can't hit with them. With Donkey Kong, you can hit with him, you can deal with him, you have star throw home. He has connections characters like Petey, even Dixie, if you like Dixie, and Diddy, if you like Diddy. Uh, Players that should be playing respectively in the outfield or the infield. So, to me, I think with the amount of runs that he saves, his star hit, the fact that he can slap it, he can hit home runs, still top 4 hitter in home runs. In my eyes, he's the best all-around player. So, Bowser. If you want to put Bowser first, that's fine. I won't argue against it. It could just be me being very comfortable with Donkey Kong. Bowser, I would have second just because he is the best hitter, home run hitter in the game, and he does create the most runs probably with his bat. Do I think he's a better hitter than Donkey Kong? Would I rather have him up over Donkey Kong? In most situations, yes. But there are times that I don't want to get walked. If it's second and third and Bowser's up, you're walking Bowser. And you can say, well, he's the best singles hitter in the game. But now I've wasted a pick on a hitter who's a heavy, and everyone's afraid to pitch to him. So now I have a heavy hitter who's not a heavy anymore. He's a singles hitter, and I'm not drafting Bowser to be a singles hitter. I'm drafting Bowser to be a heavy hitter. Donkey Kong's not going to draw the walks because a lot of players aren't going to want to, they'll if unless you have the stars, maybe they'll walk him. But a lot of times they still will pitch to him, and in my eyes, walk him too. But players haven't got to the point of, at least when I own Donkey Kong, walk him. I don't want Bowser on my team walking. I'm gonna bat him first every time, lead off the game with the single. I'll bat Bowser after my 8-9 hitters because odds of them getting extra base hits or keeping the base open. A lot of times you're going to be forced to pitch them. So that's really the best way I would pitch the Bowsers is make sure you have guys on first and second base or first base where you're pretty much forced to pitch to him, or he leads the inning off. Bowser, I would really only play at home plate or first. His connections are now, I think, way better with other hitters that have 1-stars that can be usable and at least I think good. So Bowser, because of the bat, is the second best player. And he's a good catcher. I would pretty much only play him a catcher. So Bowser 2, Donkey Kong 1. To me, that's the S tier or the super tier, right? So that's my 1-2. 3, 4. I go back and forth here and there. If I'm playing at Andrew's house, I will go Petey Piranha. Because I have noticed that there is slight lag input. It's slight, but it's enough to mess me up, and it's not in my own head. Even with practicing it, with Boomer Swing, and Boomer Swing for me, Boomer and probably Donkey Kong are the 2 hitters that I was huge on years ago when a lot of players were going with Hammer Bro or Fire Bro. I was still going Boomer Bro. Boomer Bro I do think is better though, because you have the ability to slap it and star hit and get extra bases out of it. I think you can play him at third base. You can play him at catcher too. It's not as good as Petey. You can also play him in right field really if you wanted to because he's not too slow and he can dive. So I think all around the better hitter is Boomer because of the ability to not just have to power swing. And he can hit home runs very well too. Petey is pretty much you have to power swing with him. If you go 1 for 4 and hit a home run, that's great. He does get walked a lot. He is the best catcher in the game. He can play first base too if you have Donkey Kong and have the connection. But I like Petey pretty much at home plate. And I think we know who he is. His bat's great. It's just pretty much, it's a homer. Like Bowser, it's a homer, single, or out. So 3-4, 4-3, whatever you want to have it, that's my top 4. So I think those 4 should almost always go 4. And so 5, I have Wario. These guys can kind of, from 5 to, I guess, 8, you can mix and match whoever you really want. I go, back and forth with them within games who I'm playing against. But 5, I would probably say Wario. I think he's not a heavy, but he's someone that can hit home runs. I haven't been able to perfect his home run swing. I find it substantially lower than Donkey Kong. I find him way harder to hit because he has more of a normal swing. I think trying to time the perfect, release to when to let him swing the bat, I haven't been able to perfect. I think he's the best second baseman in the game. I have him pretty much with Yoshi at second base, but I like Yoshi in the outfield for the reasons I'll mention. And I think his star is good. I think it's a good 2 star. It's pretty much a 50-50. And if you go for the wrong ball, it's a triple. It's just where Birdo's is. And I would say Birdo maybe has a little bit higher hit rate than the 50-50, but I would say that Wario's slugging percentage with his hit is higher because he will almost always get a triple to a double if you do go for the wrong ball. And if you don't, it's a single. With Birdo, it's pretty much, I've seen a lot of balls that land and are singles. That does not happen with Wario unless magically it bounces right in front of you, or it goes foul. But then, Wario's problem is his ball can lead to double plays if you are running. But a lot of times I hold the runners. So because of everything with the fielding, he can hit. He can get singles too. I think I have him at 5 for, I think he's a great infielder, and it's someone you want to have on your team, especially if you're someone who is a singles hitter like I am. I want him on my team. 6, I would say, is King Boo. You can slap hit with him. You can hit home runs with him. He pretty much only is a third baseman, though. He doesn't have another position. You can't play him anywhere. So I think that's where the difference between him and Wario is that Wario, you are getting one of the best infielders in the game, and locking up Donkey Kong with Wario as second short is phenomenal. King Boo, I do have a better hitter than Wario. I have King Boo as the 5th best hitter in the game. So 5, 6, they're interchangeable, but King Boo, singles hitter, home run hitter. Problem is with him is it's a lot of times where you are just not on. You're not on your game. And I've also noticed at Andrew's house, the lag input is slight with him, and I don't hit with him as well as I do with a standard yellow, white, and red plug-in TV. It is slight. No excuses, no Johns, but it is there. I've recognized it. I still will pick him there. I've still hit well with him there, but I have noticed it. So overall, with a regular standardized TV, I do have him as the 6th player in the game. Problem is the fielding, but he's still a good third baseman. It's just you're not getting a position. You're not getting an X factor position. Yoshi, I have as the 7th player in the game. I have him there because I think in left field is where he will shine the best. He will tongue suck a lot of balls that will land for singles, and he will just neutralize it. He's an okay singles hitter. He scores pretty much on any ball from second place. What is that? He will score pretty much from any hit on second base. I've seen him score from first base. Wait a second. I've seen him score from first base on DK Star, on King Boo slap hits, on Boomer slap hits, on Wario hits. So the amount of runs he saves in the outfield, the amount of times he can score from first base on a hit, you really only need maybe one hit to bring him in. You can deal with him if you want and get him into scoring position. And I personally don't want him in the outfield if I have hitters, singles hitters, or even Donkey Kong because of the stars. I don't want to face him. I just don't want him. So I have him there because I think him being on the other team costs me personally runs. So I might even sometimes take him ahead of King Boo if I know someone's not going to take him. I might even sometimes take him ahead of Wario. But I think to be fair, I would have him at 7th because he is not a heavy hitter. He will not hit extra base hits. He's only a singles hitter. His star is not very good, so he has to slot in that 7th spot. Boo, rounding out the A tier, is 8. Boo is a great hitter, probably the best singles hitter in the game, because anytime it lands and it's a hit, it's almost always an extra base hit. Slugging percentage is high. Boo is very good. Obviously, we know at pitching. Boo is not my go-to on the mound. I will go to Boo on the mound if I have a very confident field. Because with Boo, you can do a lot with his pitching. You can limit a lot of you're not gonna have a lot of strikeouts with Boo, but you're gonna have a lot of weakly hit balls. And if you have good fielding, you will be able to get those weakly hit balls. And because of the release point, because of how much curve you can put on the ball, how much entail you can put on it, you're going to be able to jam hitters, get hitters off the plate. Problem with Boo on the mound for me is that it's very easy to time heavy hitters. If you have a heavy hitter, Boo is very easy to time with Bowser, very easy to time with Petey, because you're power swinging, and I feel like those are hitters that will ruin the game. Giving up a 3-run home run will ruin the game. And Boo, to me, gives up a lot of home runs compared to my other 2, even 3 pitchers. So Boo is not my number 1 pitcher, but Boo is a very good singles hitter. Problem with Boo is he's 8 because you really can't. You have no place to put Boo in the field. Maybe first base. That's really it. If you're not pitching with him, and I will pitch with him depending on the opponent I play. And how much research I've done to know where they like to hit, who they like to hit with, and I'm going to try to limit the opponent from scoring runs. Right, the name of the game is if I score more runs than you, I'm winning. So I'm going to take better hitters. I'm going to take hitters that you are good with, that I'm also good with, and make you take hitters that you're not as good with. I'm going to take pitchers that I know I can limit the hitters that you are taking, so I can limit those hitters from hitting. It's a chess game. So Boo is 8. And that rounds out my A tier. My B tier starts with Magic Hoop. Great star hit, we know. Great singles hitter without a star. Can play second base, can play third base well. I think with the Insta-Star catch, the suck, the singles bat, I think it's a very safe 9 pick. And I guess the only problem would be fouling balls off with the star, or having maybe a Yoshi at second base or Wario at second base. But again, 1-star hitters, I would say 1-star hitters, if the ball lands, a lot of times it's an extra base hit. And getting guys into second base is huge in the game, because you can bunt them over to third and then you can bunt them in, right? No outs, double, bunt them to third, bunt them in. Score a run. Do that every inning, you score 9 runs. Right? So, slugging percent is really high, and I think because very good second baseman, I have her lower than Donkey Kong and Wario and Yoshi at second base, but I would slot her in a 4. So, Magic Hoop is my 9th overall player. Mario is my 10th. Mario to me is the typical right left fielder. Good star hit. I would pay 2 for it. It's landing. It lands a lot. It's not always an extra base hit, which is the only issue I have with it. Is a lot of times I only get a single, or it stays in the infield. But Mario is a very, very, very good singles hitter too. Probably one of the best singles hitters in the game. I have his bat, singles bat. I have his bat ahead of Yoshi. I have his bat ahead of Wario. Probably around that 5 area, at least for singles. It's probably up there with Donkey Kong too. Mario just has a kind of a short bat, so you want to kind of pitch away off the plate, giving secrets away. We all know this, but pitch away from him and just hope that he's not able to generate contact. If Mario makes contact ending off the plate, a lot of times it's a single. So Mario with the star hit, he's a good right fielder with the dive. He's decent enough. He's decently enough fast. He has a decent arm. As long as his arm isn't shit, I don't really care. He's getting outs. He's making plays. He's hitting. He's getting star hits. Mario 10. Toadsworth I have at 11. Again, another good singles hitter. We could talk about he's not as fast and his arm isn't as good, but he's a better hitter. No stars. I'd rather have him over many players. He's not getting into bad double plays. He's not popping up. A lot of times he's either swinging and missing, or he's getting a double or a single with star or no star. I've power swung a lot with Toadsworth, and the trajectory of his ball is low, and I can get extra base hits on a power swing, same as Mario. Not really as much Magic Coop. Maybe I haven't done it enough. I don't know. But Toadsworth, I've hit home runs to opposite field. I've power swung a lot with him. He's gotten doubles. So Toadsworth to me, especially with the star catch, insta catch, right? He doesn't drop it. Toadsworth to me, I'll play it first. I'll play at center field. I don't really value center field as much. I was talking to Hong Ji, shout out to Hong Ji about this. When I play, a lot of balls don't go to center field. Watch my games, a lot of times they don't. So I don't value center field. I don't know if it's me pitching. I don't know. I don't know. A lot of times, a lot of balls aren't going there. So I will throw him at center field because I don't really value that position as much as probably I used to, just based off of how many times I've said, oh, I had Yoshi in center field, and Yoshi's caught in one ball. Because for some reason, they always give you, especially if you've noticed this, they always give you the left and right fielders or the second and shortstops on almost any ball hit. So if you're running in with the center fielder, a lot of times they're giving you like 3 different fielders before they give you your center fielder, and you try to target over the center fielder, and at that point it's already too late. You've wasted too much time. Left and right fielders, they almost always give you them first over the center fielder, and anything hitting the gaps, a lot of times it's just better to have the left or right fielder get it. So center field, to me, it doesn't matter as long as you can dive. You're not awfully slow. If anything is hitting center field and it's landing, a lot of times it's already landing. So kudos to you. Good hit, good double. I'll take the double. I'll take the 5 at bats with Toadsworth and play him in center field. And anything in the hit in the air, he's not bobbling and he has a star hit, I'll take him there any day of the week. Singles bat, no star, good. He can hit home runs here and there, not really that much, but I have done it a decent enough times to be confident enough to power swing with him. So 12, I have Goomba. Now, you could put him at 12. You could put him at 13. You could put him at 15. This is where I usually like to take him, around this spot, because of the players that are going after him that I kind of look at like, okay, if I don't get this one, I can get this one. And if I don't get this person, I can get this person. I just don't want to lose Goomba after this point. So with Goomba, I love. I think the trajectory of his slap hit is good. A lot of times he's not weakly getting into a double play. His bat is what's the word? His bat is very weird, I'd say. Kind of like Waluigi, is that you really don't know where to pitch it. It's really hard to judge. Are you jamming him? Are you throwing it off the plate? A lot of times I've just went right into it and got hit in the arm and takes first base. He slapped it right in the middle of the field, right over the shortstop, second baseman's head, and the fielder just can't get to it because it's hitting center field, and the center field is way deeper. Again, corners, same thing, right down the line. To me, I slap hit very well with him, and there's really not that much risk. He's not doubling up. And because if you don't time him right, you have so much time to revert back to first base. Right? You're not really getting into a double play. You're not hitting slow rollers. There's time. Obviously, every person in the game will hit a slow roller, but compared to the other hitters, it doesn't happen as much. His star hit is not good at all. I would never use it. But the thing is, I think he's a very good first baseman because, again, I'm not really valuing the connections as much, especially with Donkey Kong. He has a great arm. I always get Donkey Kong. So, to me, I still play him at first. He will neutralize anything stolen. You could throw it to him at first base, and you can run it home with the bad connection in the outfield. Is another reason why I don't really value as much fielders in the outfield. Unless you can dive and have speed, I'll value you. But on the mound, his release point is very, very hard to pick up. It limits home runs because home runs all about timing. It's not necessarily as much jamming because the big hitters like especially Petey Piranha and Bowser and King Boo and Donkey Kong, they really don't have a sweet spot of the bat. It's pretty much just like up to the batter to not time the swing as well, right? Like, yes, there are times that you can jam every single one of them, but a lot of times they will make contact to almost anything off the plate, and having the ball at different frames, like left to right, whatever, it's not as huge of a thing, which is why Boo to me gives up more home runs than Waluigi, Dixie, and Goomba. And Goomba will give up more singles than Boo because, again, you don't have as much left to right movement, so you really can't get the weak contact. But for limiting power, for making sure you're only going to get hit singles, Goomba is the go-to because Goomba will fuck up your timing. So Goomba, to me, you could slot him at 15. You can slot him here. I'm personally taking Goomba at 12 because these other hitters after I can just get a couple and I'm okay with. Goomba at 12. The pitching, he has the star running, right? He is fast running, and I like his bat personally. So I have Goomba at 12. Goomba Meta. 13. I have Green Koopa Paratroopa. I have it 13. And 13, 14 are kind of back and forth. Probably hear issues for this, but to me, I don't really think without a star, his bat is good at all. I find myself getting into a lot of issues with his bat without a star. The problem is I almost always have a star. I save my stars a lot for my lesser hitters. It makes my better hitters better. So with a star, he's a double hitter. He'll get a double almost any time with the star. If it lands, it's a double, and that is value. A double is good. I think his ball over Green Drybones, which is my 14th player, is more doubles prone. He will when both ball I've seen, because I guess the trajectory of Koopa Paratroopa, when it lands, it's a double. Bones, I've had a lot more singles land and just be balls land and just be singles. But Koopa Paratroopa is a better fielder, and his arm is better. And I think having a person that takes one star to get a double, I think that's something to want. Problem with him is that if it gets neutralized, if you have a fielder that's able to catch his ball, it is very double play prone. Same as Green Drybones. Give me 1 second. I gotta plug my laptop in. I have this list up there. Sorry guys, I just want to do this in one take. And that is not my charger. Where the hell is it? Excuse this. Don't really want to have to make another freaking video. So, Koopa Paratroopa is my 13th player. I think his bat is very bad, though. Overall, I probably have his singles bat without a star. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 18, 19. So, I mean, 6 spots higher because of the fielding and because of the star, I think is fair. So, 13, 14th is Green Drybones, connection to Bowser, which, again, I'm not huge on connections, but Bowser's almost always playing at home plate. So, you're not sacrificing yourself for chemistry. You're not putting yourself in a bind because you're like, oh, I got to get chemistry. He's there. He already has it. I think his singles bat is better than Green, Koopa Paratroopa. And I think the star hit is also very good. It's double, prone. It's just lower to me. It's lower than Koopa Paratroopa. It's lower than Magic and it's just not up there. And the fielding isn't up there either. It's just he can run. Usually I play him in center field if I have to. And, I'm not always getting him in every game. There's times that I'll pick other players because it fits my team better. But I think because, again, having a person that can hit an extra base hit with 1 star is huge. It's huge. Outside of when the game starts, if you go to inning 5 and you look at how many stars you've used to how many you're going to have, you'll be able to use more star hits. You'll be able to have more stars by having 1-star hitters, which is why I have them higher. And extra base hits win this game. Wins. Scoring runs wins. And because there's not that many guys that can hit home runs. So you need players to be in scoring position to score runs. So he's 14th. 15th. Yeah, we've been waiting. We're waiting for it. Almost put Birdo in a different tier, but I'm not going to troll that much. I think Birdo I have at 15, and I think it's for good reason. So let's get to it. So Birdo to me is probably my 4th or 5th middle infielder chosen. You could argue her over Magikarp, but I probably would still take Magikarp. That's just me. Because of the insta-catch, Birdo has tendency to bobble. The singles bat is awful. Power swing is awful. It's awful all around. He's not a good hitter. Not a good hitter in the slightest way. I'm not taking her star as captain because I'm not getting a top 3 fielder. I'm not getting a top 3 hitter. I'm taking someone that I'm forced to use a star for this person to be reliable, which means I'm not using stars with other hitters in hope that there's a chance that Birdo gets it. So let paint you a picture. I have Birdo. Let's say I have Birdo batting 3 to start the game. Okay, let's say I have Birdo 3. Let's say I have Yoshi 1, and let's say I have Boomer 2. Okay, Yoshi gets out because Yoshi gets out a lot. I power swing with Boomer, and Boomer lines out to first base, and it's 2 outs, and I have 4 stars up, and I have Birdo up. What do I do? I'm not star swinging. Why am I going to waste a star to get Berto into second base? Now I have 3 stars with 2 outs. I wasted a star to get. Now I have my 4-hitter up. That 4-hitter's getting walked. Second base. Base open. Petey Piranha's up. Getting walked. First and second. Now who do I have up? I don't know. And I gotta get a single. And now, if I don't get a single, now it's like, okay, now I lead off my 6, 7, 8 hitter. It happens every game. Or it's like the 8th hitter's up, and I have 2 stars. And I have green. I like, the greens. Right? So, man on first base, I star hit. Right? Now it's first and second, or first and third, or second and third. Right? I've wasted a star, and I have 1 star, and now I have Berto up later on in the game, and I have only 1 star, and I foul that off. And now I have bases loaded with my 3-hitter up that can't hit. Or I don't use a star because I have 1 star to give, and I have a green, one of the greens, and I don't use it, and they're lesser hitters without the star, and now I have to debate in my head, okay, do I use a star here, do I not use a star here, blah, 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 blah. It just makes every hitter worse. It makes every hitter worse when you are forced to have to use a star with someone who you're batting third. You're batting her third. You're batting her fourth. You're batting her fifth. You're batting her within that. As a captain, you are batting her at 3, 4, 5 with a 1 star. Her arm is eh. Her fielding outside of second base or shortstop is eh. She's not very fast. Doesn't have power. All she has is a star hit that a lot of times is not even very usable because the amount of times I've fouled it off, I've swung and missed, I've held on to stars for this person, and there's no one on base for me to use it for. I've hit it to the shortstop, and they've doubled me up. It happens all the time. Giving stars to your first overall pick, making your other players worse when you don't know how many star hits are. There's games me and Nick play. There's been no star chances. There's games I've seen Maddie and Andrew play, and there's 15 throughout the game. So again, then that's that situation. Yeah, then it makes sense. But why take someone first overall? This goes first overall. Why take someone first overall when you need stars to make them usable? Her bat is still worse than Boomer, Petey, King Boo, Wario, Bowser, and Donkey Kong just on a regular swing because you're not forced to use anything to get extra base hits. You have the option to use a star hit with them. Her, you need it, so you're giving it away. And her star hit has the highest double play percentage out of anyone. She fouls it off a bunch, she swings and misses a bunch. Donkey Kong, you can say, oh, well, he swings and misses a bunch and his star's not great. You don't have to, you can play him at shortstop. He's the best shortstop or best second baseman, debatably, in the game. Star throw home run hitter, extra base hitters with a regular swing. Berto, and so you're taking her first. Taking your second, now you need 2 stars. Now you are certainly planning around Berto and her stars because you need 2 stars. There's been games almost every time I end up losing, which happens, I have Berto on my team as a 2-star captain. Or I've had Berto on my team as a 1-star captain. Most of my losses come when I own Berto. And it's not because it's just Berto. It's because your game plan reverts to, let me give these stars to someone who isn't a good hitter. So I have to make them good by giving them stars. Does she have a good suck? Yes. At shortstop, does it take too long? There's too much end lag? Yes. So where am I playing her? Where am I playing her? Second base, that's it? There's 1 spot on the field to play her? Her stars 2. Will I still own Berto? At 15, yeah, I'll take Berto as my 7th, 8th, 9th player. Yes, I'll take Berto there. And I have to deal with it because I don't want my opponent to have Berto and just to neutralize every 1-star hitter. So that's the only time I'll take her. It's because if I have 1-star hitters, Berto has the chance to limit their extra base hits because of the suck, because it's very, very fast. So in that regard, she is 15. But her bat's bad. Her star hit, yes, while it is worthy of a star, the problem is planning around it, and that's the issue. I don't like it. I don't like having to say, oh, well, Mario's a 2-star hitter, but I can hit with Mario. I don't need 2 stars to hit with Mario. I can hit a home run with Mario if I really felt like it. Not felt like it, but if I timed it well, I can hit an extra base hit with Mario without a star. I don't need the star. I don't have to think about, okay, do I need stars for Mario to hit? No. The entire game I'm going, okay, I have to plan stars. I have to give stars to Berto. I have to give stars to Berto. I don't want to do that. I just don't want to do it. So, yeah. No. Berto and a B tier. You could even throw her in C tier, but there is a significant difference between her. So 16, I have Diddy. Diddy, again, these players are all 8th to ninth pick players. All these players. And just do the math on it, they're 8, 9 pick players. So, as an 8, 9 pick player, all these characters, I guess you can interchange. You're taking lesser hitters, you're taking lesser fielders. You're pretty much just trying to round out your team. And I think Diddy rounds out a team pretty well because if you missed on some outfielders, even if you missed on a third, Diddy can play third base too. He can play first base. He can pretty much play anywhere. He's not going to hurt you in the field. He can play center field if you really want one. So he can pretty much play anywhere. And he does have a star hit, which at this point, you're not... He can singles it. He can slap hit. He can get a slap hit. He has more power than Dixie does. His bat is better than Dixie. It is better. I don't care. It is a better bat. When you play against people that are exploiting weaknesses, like the computer... This is the thing. The computer doesn't exploit weaknesses to hitters. I will exploit your freaking weaknesses. I will pitch to Dixie in a way I know how to, like I pitched to Diddy. When I verse Diddy, Diddy ain't getting a hit on me. He ain't getting a hit on me when I verse Diddy. You've seen a bet, he ain't getting a hit on me. So I will exploit weaknesses of hitters. The CPU won't do it. So maybe when you're playing him, it's like, okay, well, this person's like this. Diddy is a better hitter. He's a better hitter. And he has insta catch, like whatever you want to call it. He won't drop it. His dive is a little scary to me. I don't really like doing it. I will if I have to. I like the Luigi slide. I like the Toadsworth slide. I like the Greens slides over them. So Diddy to me is 16 because he has the ability to get an extra base hit. Because he has a star. That's really it. He has the extra base hit ability. If he goes 1-4 with an extra base hit, and you took him at 8 or 9, you didn't reach for him, and he can play the outfield anywhere you really want. He has a good arm. He has connection to other characters. I think it's worth an 8th, 9th pick because you don't also need a star for him to get singles or to get a hit. And he can steal bases. He can score from second base. So I think he is a good prototypical 8, 9 pick. I usually don't have him on my team. I usually go the other characters that I've named earlier that are usually there, so I just take them. So Luigi is my 17th because, again, he can hit singles. He can play right field. He can play left field. He can dive. He can play center field. He has a decent enough arm. His star swing is awful. That's my really only big issue with him, but he is a very good hitter. Probably one of the best singles hitters in the game, and you're getting him for cheap. Again, score runs. He can run a little bit. He's not going to get thrown out on every throw. He's not going to score on every throw, but he's not going to get thrown on every throw. He's going to score, from third base on almost any single. You can bunt him home. He's fast enough to score on a bunt, even if you throw home with it. And he's fast enough to beat out Pickles. So I think, again, you're getting an okay arm, an okay fielder, one of the best slap hit singles hitters in the game. You can power swing. You can get an extra base hit based off of the power swing and getting it in the gaps at a higher rate than other characters. You're not going to get that crappy pop fly trajectory that you would with the lesser characters if you don't time it as well. And the star swing is bad. Just don't use it. 18, I have Daisy. I actually think Daisy's star hit is very good. It's way better than Peach's. It's very hard to catch. In Peach's ball, you see the ball and you can get under it. Daisy's you can't at the last second. Daisy's one of the best star hits in the game. And I like Diddy's star hit as well too. Daisy, she's an okay second baseman, has a very quick release. Probably the 5th, 6th best second baseman in the game, or shortstop. You can throw her in there if you needed to. We've seen, even though her arm isn't great, how fast her quick release is, I'd love to be able to time for when she receives the ball, how fast it gets to the next base, based off of catch and throw, not just throw speed. So Daisy, she can slap hit. She's lesser than the other characters. She has a double star. You can power swing with her. You can get extra base hits with her because of the trajectory. You can go between left and center field on a line. You're not going to get as much bad pop flies that are going to generate into outs. You can be more confident by getting extra base hits with her, and she has a star hit, and she's not awful in the field. So I have her at 18. 19, I have Bowser Jr. Again, he has a connection to Bowser, who's at home plate almost every game. He has a doubles star hit. Now, power swinging with him is not good. You're going to pop out. But again, he has a decent singles bat. He's going to keep the inning alive. That's this game. Keep the inning alive. Do not get out. Like, your power hitters have to get thrown to. The amount of guys, the more guys you have on first, second, third base, the more they're going to have to pitch to Bowser. The more they're going to have to pitch to Petey. The more they're going to have to do that. So the amount, the lesser hitters you have on your team, if they're not getting on base, your power hitters are going to get walked. There's games that I'll walk Bowser even with bases loaded. I'll walk Bowser for no reason, just because I don't want to pitch to him. I don't want to pitch to Donkey Kong. I don't want to pitch to Petey. I don't pitch to Boomer. If you have less hitters, if you have worse hitters on your team, and you have players that aren't as consistent to getting on first and second base, I'm just going to pitch around them every single time. I'm going to pitch around your good hitters and make you hit your bad hitters. And you're probably not going to be able to. And then you're giving me better hitters to hit with. And Bowser Jr. can hit singles way better than a lot of people think they can. And he has a star hit that, yes, it is worth 2. You don't have to plan around it because, again, he can still hit singles. If you have the stars, if you have first and second with 2 outs, who would you rather have up? And you have 3 stars. Who would you rather have up? Waluigi, Bowser Jr., Dixie, Monty Mole, Toad, right? Noki. Who would you rather have up? It's a tie game. It's 7th inning, 6th, 7th inning. First and second, 1 out, 2 outs. Who do you want up? Bowser Jr. Because you still have 2 stars. His star is a hit. It's a hit. It's a single. It's a double. You got to score runs. You got to score runs when you can. And the thing is you're not having to hold them because he can still get singles. He can still get singles. And he can still get on first base. So Bowser Jr. is my 19th player. 20. Pink Menace. It's time. It's time we've switched the meta. Pink Menace, I think, leaves a bad taste in everyone's mouth because when they first get the game and they first play it, his stats seem great, and then you start hitting with him, and he's not that great. But he still can go 1 for 4 with a double every single game. He can still hit home runs. I've done it. Is he difficult to time with? Absolutely. He's difficult. Would I ever recommend slap hitting with him? No. But if you land 1 swing of the 4 to 5 at-bats he will have in the game, I bet you it's a double or home run almost every game. So he can drive runs in at the bottom of the order. He's not going to double play because anything that he hits in the air is an out. So you're not going to get into a place of, I hit a crappy ground ball and now it's innings over. Or I hit a star hit and they've doubled me up with it. It's not going to happen. Don't star swing at them and just power swing every time. I think I view him a lot like I do Toad. In the fact that I don't think Toad's very good, but I think Toad has a lot more. Toad has, I think, a higher home run rate than Pink Menace, but Pink Menace a lot of times will drive the ball right over the second baseman and shortstop's head for extra base hits, and he has star throw home. You could even play him in the infield. He can dive, and I don't think he's that bad. I'm sorry, it's just extra base hits wins, and as a 9th pick, am I comfortable picking him yet? Maybe not as much because there's still other players picking. But if the order was to go in the order I just named players, would I end up picking him? Probably. I think all these hitters after are players that maybe aren't very good, and they're just there for fielding. But I've usually have already fielded my team with decent enough fielders, decent enough singles hitters to win the game. He would just be something that's like, okay, I kind of missed on extra base hitters earlier in the game. I could use a little more oomph, not someone who's really star hit dependent. And I can get a double here and there, go 1 for 4. He's not going to double up. He's not going to cause inning-ending double plays. I can have another decent second baseman or third baseman and limit you from running home because I have star throwers at second base or in third base or shortstop and third base or second base and shortstop, right? So I think the meta's, I think he's only going to get better. Play with him. Time his swing. He's hard. He's difficult, right? But so is Donkey Kong. So is King Boo. I think it's time. 21 is Waluigi. Now, I have him at 21 because I have 2 pitchers already ahead of him. I think 2 pitchers are already better than him. I think Waluigi, I think he's a more well-rounded pitcher than Boo because he is more he has a better fastball and changeup, and so the speed differential is a little bit more wide. So it makes it he limits the heavy hitters more than I would say Boo, but he doesn't limit as many singles because he doesn't. I feel as though he is his ball doesn't have as much end tail at the very end of the plate. Um, so Star Hit's bad. I find myself getting into a lot of trouble with this dive because his hitbox is just so bizarre. I've dove in, I've overdove on plays. He's a lefty. You can change him to a righty, I guess, in the infield, but his left arm also it takes more time to throw to first base. I haven't tried him as a righty, so maybe that could be a thing. But I don't like his bat. It's only he's never gonna get an extra base hit. Never gonna get an extra base hit ever, unless you use 2 stars on him and you miss the ball. But again, it's only in the infield. It's just I'm rarely ever picking him. I'll just pitch with Boo. I'll pitch with Goomba. I'll get better hitters. I'll get players that I can play at first base and be more comfortable with. Get extra base hits out of. I limit more runs. I don't know. I'm not Waluigi. I would argue that you could put him at 14, 15 because you really like his pitching. I get that. This is me. I'm gonna put him at 21. Dixie, I have at 22. Dixie is the 4th best pitcher in the game for me. Problem with Dixie is that she doesn't excel in anything. She's a better right fielder than a lot of players, a better left fielder than a lot of players, but her bat's not very good. And problem with her, again, you could exploit her. You could exploit her weaknesses, and she's never gonna have anything more than a single. Her star hit's not good, and she has connections to I think Donkey Kong, which is good, and she can pitch. The thing is, I'm gonna pick 2 to 3 other pitchers over her. So I'm not going to carry her on my team because I want to relieve her. If my pitcher's giving up 7 runs, I'm only winning the game based off of my offense. And if I have her on my team, she's just hurting my offense. If I give up 7 runs with Boo, I've given up 7 runs, and now we need to score 8 runs. And if she goes 1 for 4 or 2 for 4 and has 2 singles at the bottom of my lineup, I'm not stealing with her because if I steal and get to second base with her, what am I doing? Now I'm just opening up first base for a heavy hitter to get walked. It's just she's never going to drive anyone in. The amount of times I've hit balls with bases loaded with her, and they because it's hit so weakly, they just throw the ball home. Now it's bases. Now the out's at home, and it's first, second, third. She just can't hit. The thing is, she's a decent fielder, she's a good fielder, and a good pitcher. The problem is I'm not taking her because of her bat is just so bad, and she has no extra base hit potential. So I'm sorry, but she's 22. I actually have Green Noki because the star hit could be useful. Again, fielding is good. That's about it. A decent singles hitter. I think the singles hit is way worse than the other players I mentioned. No chance for an extra base hit unless it's probably Green Noki. Arm is decent. Again, just falls into the trap of I'm paying for offense. I'm paying for offense. If you want to draft Noki over drafting Daisy or Luigi, I'm okay with it. Again, I want hitters that I can get extra base hits with, if need be. I want hitters that I know I will have somewhat of a connection with, and I never have that with Noki. So Green Noki, Green has a star. It's usable if you need it. I just look at it, if it's a tie game, and I'm men on first base and second base, and there's 2 outs. I hate to score that run from second base. That ball has to be deep into the outfield. That ball has to be down the lines. And does Noki do that enough? Not as much as other players above him. Above her, him. So I guess that's 23. So then I have Monty Mole 24. Still in C tier right now. Monty Mole, you can say, well, what's the difference between him and Goomba? To me, I've used both of them. Monty Mole's probably my 5th best pitcher in the game. So if you know, all the pitchers are here. But the pitching is way worse than Goomba. Monty, for me, is only a first baseman because I'm not pitching Monty over all the players. So auto first baseman. Goomba, you have the option to put first base in between at bats, which I'll do. Monty, you have to just pretty much play first base because you just have Goomba over Monty. I've had a lot more weekly hit ground balls than I do with Goomba. The bat to me isn't as good. And again, it's just a matter of it's not. If you're not the best pitcher, I'm not taking you. If you're not a better singles hitter than the other, I'm not taking you. If Goomba to me wasn't as good of a pitcher as he is, I would put Goomba probably where I put Dixie. But Goomba to me is a much better pitcher and has a better bat than Dixie, and has a better bat than Monty. But the Monty to Goomba thing, you could argue that I have him too far. I wouldn't argue against it. You can really put Goomba at 15. The difference is Goomba's a way better pitcher, and Goomba to me has a better bat and has less double play tendencies, because I feel like the trajectory of his balls go more up or end up landing in center field more than Monty's. I've seen a lot more balls get robbed. So yeah. And then I have Purple Toad rounding out C tier. Same thing with Toad. I'm not taking Toad's bat over really anyone. I haven't perfected Toad. I'd rather have Pink Menace over Toad. Toad does have extra base hits potential. The difference with Toad is that he's a worse fielder than the other players I mentioned. He doesn't pitch. The other players have more speed. And Toad, again, his slap hit isn't very good either. You pretty much have to charge with Toad like you would with Pink Menace, but Pink Menace to me hits more doubles, and maybe Toad has a higher home run rate than Pink Menace. I've used Toad way too many times, and I've gotten out way too many times with Toad. The only good thing I'd say about Toad is that he doesn't double up. He doesn't hit any slow rollers. So maybe Toad you can put a little bit higher. I haven't played too much with Toad, as much as I probably should have. So you could maybe even argue Toad over Nogi, over Monty Mole. You could. So, but Toad Purple Toad is in my C tier. Toadette is starting my D tier. Toadette, again, can't hit. She can't hit at all. I don't care if I'm limiting runs. If I save 1 run a game because she gets to 1 or 2 extra balls that are singles, that are doubles, how many runs is that really accounting for? I don't know, but I know she can't hit at all. Bad star, nothing. That's me on Toadette. If you play the CPU, yeah, they're hitting a lot of balls in the outfield. They're hitting a lot of pop flies. I'm not giving up as hard contact as much as I think. A lot more balls that I'm giving up. I feel like it's like, okay, that would have been a hit regardless of who's in the outfield. And I get to enough balls with Luigi, with Mario, with Diddy, with Daisy, with the Greens. Maybe she gets to 2 more balls a game, but she's not getting a hit at all. Peach is next. Same thing with Peach. The star, you could use it. It's nowhere near as Daisy. I'm not comfortable with her singles bat at all. To me, it's way shorter. Her contact is way worse. She's very double play prone. Good thing is she has star catch. The problem is, again, with her is I'm not comfortable with her bat. You could argue she's a good pitcher on the mound. I wouldn't disagree with you. She's probably right where Monty is, but I have Monty low too. If we were drafting based off, if you take the 10 best players out of the game and you're objectively going off who's a more well-rounded player, she slides up on the list. But for Dennis Schumar 11 drafting Peach, I'm not doing it. I'm not. I don't think she can hit. I think she strikes out a bunch. I think her star is bad. It costs 2. And like Luigi star isn't good either, but Luigi can hit. And to me, Luigi has, I'm drafting more players, around Luigi than I am with Peach. So, Paragoomba, again, isn't bad. These 3 characters aren't bad. I'm just not, maybe Toadette is. So actually, you can probably put Toadette even lower, but to make people not want to kill me, I put Toadette there. Paragoomba does, I guess, have jump catch. Doesn't really have a position, though. And the bat to me is worse than Goomba. Maybe I haven't used him enough. I don't know, but where is he playing in the field? Don't know. Doesn't have the fast running as Goomba does in the infield. Same thing. It's just like why take Paragoomba if I can have others? Then the rest is Red Shy Guy. Again, what are you doing that I need you for? I don't need you. Koopa, I don't need you. And then the babies. I don't need you. So to finish this up, Players that can hit without a star, yay. Players that can't hit without a star, eh. Players that have a good star that could still singles hit, yay. Players that you are forced to use a star for, nay. Birdo, yes, 15. The star is very, very good. If Birdo had Yoshi's star, Birdo would be probably at around 23, 22. Because she still has the suck. At the end of the day, this is my list, and this is something that, I it's not perfected by any means, but there's players that can always go up and down. I've changed my list here and there. I just look at it like, you have to score runs, and there's only like 4 or 5 power hitters in the game that you're really comfortable using. So you're forced to have to get guys into scoring position. If you have a person that's only hitting singles, and that's all they can do, then that's something that you still want. But at the same time, they better be damn consistent if they're only hitting singles. And the problem with the lesser hitters, they're not as consistent. Like Dixie isn't as consistent. Noki isn't as consistent. Like, to me, a lot of times they generate a lot of bad outs. They have a lot of ground balls that it's like, oh, okay, well, or really shallow pop-ups that can result in double play if you're stealing. Like, other characters, maybe not so much. Like, Luigi is a good hit. Like, a lot of times, Luigi, you can bank on him getting a hit. You can bank on Daisy and Bowser Jr. and Diddy. You can bank on the placement of where their balls are getting hits by making contact with them. The lesser hitters, you really can't do so. And at the same time, they all have stars. Maybe not Luigi, but they all have stars. Pinata, don't sleep on them. Pay for hitters. Don't pay for fielders. If someone can run half-fast and slide, most likely, if you're not going to get to that ball with that player, you're not going to get to that ball with anyone else. And at the same time, you can have Toadette in center field or in right field. And how many balls are hit to center or left field that she's not at, that it's like, oh, shit, like, I only have one Toadette on my team, and I misplaced her. Like, you're in your own head. And it's is what it is. Dennis Schumar 11. Love you guys. Stay safe.